freshman in the ACC to lead the league. And scoring was also the WBCA Freshman of the Year. So just a dynamic player coming in this year with a different approach on how she can impact her team as an assist and playmaker. UCLA will start off with the ball, and this is an offense that, as you mentioned before, just potent as far as the options they have on that side of the floor.
And the person to keep an eye on is 6'8" Lauren Betts, who tried to get the ball into right there, shooting 80% from the field so far this season.
And they get the steal there, able to knock it out, something that most teams aren't able to do, getting offensive boards against the length of UCLA and for UCLA as well. Corey Close talked about coming out and being better in turnovers, starting their first possession with one. Here are your starting five for UCLA. Charisma Osborne coming back for her 5th year as well. Talked about her importance in the leadership role for this team. And here's your Invesco QQQ starting lineup for Florida State. Tonight, Latin, as we mentioned in the Open, who's been stellar in her sophomore year, but also seeing Amaria Gordon, who is putting up some impressive numbers in her 3rd year as well. So Florida State still looking for their first points of the ball game as we're approaching the 8-minute mark here in the first period. Off the bounce, and that's good. Sarah Bergetti off the mark. Underneath for Lauren Betts, and she gets her first bucket.
Talking to Kiki Rice yesterday, it was interesting. She said, you know, our job is to make sure Lauren Betts gets at least one touch every single time down the floor, and we've seen early why that's a focus. Lauren Betts is at 6'8", and Kiki Rice just delivers the ball right on the money. It's got some spice on it.
Kiki Rice didn't like the look on the inside. Another one goes to Betts, gets the double team on the backside. This is a jump ball.
So they will certainly send help inside.
Leads the nation as far as her efficiency from the field, shooting 80%. Tania Latson gets the first bucket to go for the Noles.
That was a lot of contact, but that's what we saw so much from her a season ago, using her strength and her frame to absorb contact and finish inside.
Had 7 30-point games last season for Florida State as Lauren Betts stretches the floor a bit.
That becomes unfair at some point, and if this young woman eventually gets her range out to the 3-point line, forget it.
Has 6 of the points for the Bruins. Tania Latson loses Kiki Rice, but a bit strong on the shot. Those two are very familiar with one another, being on the same team for the McDonald's All-American game as another 3 is drained. Londynn Jones checks in, and 30 seconds later gets her first bucket.
Now, this is the thing. This isn't a group you look at and see deficiencies.
Lauren Betts with the block against Michaela Timpson. Spin move by Kiki Rice. My goodness.
Everybody's holding each other accountable to next, to next, to next. All right? If we do that, at the end of this game, we have something to be proud of. If we give everything in every moment, and then we move on to the next, we have something to be proud of.
On one side, toughness, accountability. On the other side, UCLA with the early 13-2 lead over Florida State. UCLA shooting 6 for 7 from the field, and while Florida State is 1 for 9, Corey Close talked about the defensive aspect of her team, wanting them to be better. What have you seen?
They've been pretty good. I mean, the whole key against Florida State defensively is to try to keep them out of the paint. All of their players like to drive, get touches inside, and UCLA has done an admirable job of staying between them and the basket. I want to point out, Lauren Betts picked up a foul as UCLA was picking up full court. She was on the other side of the mid-court line. That is not where you want your 6'8" player picking up a foul early in the basketball game.
So Dugalić checks in for UCLA. But the first free throws for Florida State as well. We talked about the aggressive play that we're used to seeing from this team. But now, the only player to score in double figures, but Londynn Jones, second triple of the day. Florida State only has 1 field goal, and we're a little under 5 minutes to play in this first. UCLA averaging about 92 points per game, Florida State 84. Osborne from outside. And the cleanup underneath for Jaques. Tania Latson looking to get some type of offense going. Looks at the rim with now people playing more packed in on the paint. Or catch it on the ESPN app. Among the ACC leaders, Calvin. And so talk about the turnovers. Also, Lauren Betts still trying to figure out how she can get the ball on the inside.
Yeah, that's one where Charisma Osborne just threw it way over the hand of Lauren Betts.
Just before turnover for the Bruins as Osborne pulls up, and she is a sharp shooter. So Charisma Osborne with 4, Jones with 6, Betts also with 6.
That may be the most open look.
So Michaela Timpson now has 2 fouls, will be sent to the bench. Avery Treadwell. Gordon driving baseline, finds Tucker at the top of the key this time, and a foul is called. Stark difference as far as the field goal percentage, but for Florida State, just still looking for a rhythm.
Mentioned Osborne's able to pick up full and slow things down, and the other players in the quarter court can match up.
They had the 11 o'clock tip, and for UCLA, they said this is no difference for us because they're a morning team. UCLA with their highest rank in program history, sitting at 2nd in the nation coming into this one, 8-0 record. Had a good showing also in the Cayman Islands when they beat UConn for the first time with Corey Close in her tenure, as a foul is going to... times this season, just 4 for 6 coming into this ball game. But they are looking for any and everything, as they're just with 9 points as we're approaching the 92nd mark in the first period.
Yeah, that's an illegal screen inside.
And then on the other end with that foul, though, Cameron Brown with her 2nd foul goes to the bench. Somebody that actually started for UCLA last season. Was a good bucket. The 2nd field goal for Florida State going down for Paula Vegas. Backdoor cut. Jones didn't like the look. Sends it out to Gabriella. One-legged runner. That looked pretty nice.
But just pretty basketball, and unselfish basketball. First it starts with the backdoor cut, the pass, then the extra pass, then the fake and the floater.
Back-to-back buckets for Florida State. Vegas. Now with 5 quick points off the bench. Sierra Bajetti took a hard hit at the top of the screen, ran into a...
Players have to constantly communicate and call screens, especially out at the midcourt line. That's where players can get hurt if they're unaware that a screen is coming. That's usually the big guy's fault. I'm sure you agree with me, Angel.
I do. Yeah, we like the communication. 12 seconds left in this first period. Amaria Gordon looking for some offense. Tucker outside, knocks the 3 down. Back-to-back threes for Florida State. And just like that, have a run of their own as they hit their last 3 shots. Just understanding what she has done, 3 for 3 from the field, the 6 early points. We've seen her in and out of the game a couple of times throughout the first period, but this is a player that has made herself dominant, and I love the fact that you brought up her communication with her teammates to start.
Just watch her when she gets anywhere near the paint. Here she's just setting screen after screen, but when she gets near the paint, how she calls for the basketball. She's getting held right now.
Interesting enough, as she brings in the triple team, misses her first field goal of the ball game there, but Gabriella Jaques plays cleanup. Tucker, nasty crossover, top of the key, back iron too strong.
And how about UCLA's ability to switch and have Betts switch out onto guards as well?
Such a dynamic player, gets the ball underneath, 1 dribble. Had the 2 threes that she knocked down in the first period. Turnage, top of the key, knocks that one down.
Get to the free throw line, and they've got to be able to continue to hit threes.
Down to Turnage, the sophomore out of Atlanta, Georgia. Actually played high school basketball with Tania Latson, won a state championship with her at Westlake. Lauren Betts underneath, and they're going to have to find an answer. Not many people have. Florida State looking to answer here with Sarah Bajetti working the baseline. Finally finds a look, and Sarah Bajetti took the 3rd option for Betts to be pulled out as well. That went off the mark underneath. Turnage rips down the rebound for Florida State. Betts mishandles. Looking for some help as Tanaya Latson played off of. Bad idea. UCLA outscored Florida State 26-17 in the first. Right now, Florida State is edging them by 2, 8-6 in the second. Jaquez asks for the ball underneath. Betts all alone, hands up, and finally gets the bucket and gets the foul. Off the mark for the free throw, but you talked about the efficiency, leading the nation. And Betts has just been such a spectacular ad, the #1 overall recruit. 9 points for Tanaya Latson as the Bruins get it back. You can see them playing off of Dugalić. Gets the ball back on the inside, and that's great two-man basketball.
Just because of the defensive attention she demands.
Tanaya Latson rolls into a bucket on the out of bounds. Now in double figures, so Lauren Betts in double figures with 12 and Tanaya Latson with 11 for Florida State. Betts gets it back. It's a walking bucket. A little bit of miscommunication between Tucker and Bejetti. Sarah looks up and sees that she's guarded by Betts, steps out. Better look for her on the outside.
She was battling inside. Charisma Osborne, who has size on her, was posting up hard.
And Charisma Osborne is able to free her. Charisma Osborne with that 3 now in double figures as well. Timpson blocked again on the inside by Lauren Betts. It's been a tough night for her to start. Not for Londynn Jones, though. The third.
Getting back to getting the ball inside, previous couple of possessions, and then the last 2 looking for their perimeter scoring.
Londynn Jones 3 for 5 from outside. Sarah sends it out, finds Gordon for 3. Bounces around and shooter's touch.
60% from 3 is Florida State on the season. They shoot 34% from the perimeter.
Seen a lot of threes, more offense that we've seen in this second quarter. Florida State finding a way to get settled in offensively. Sarah Bejetti, the best defender for Florida State, able to poke it away. Bruins with 5 to work with. Betts delivered on a dime and scores with 1 second. Tanaya Latson having the role of playing off the ball a little bit more in this season, and that's why.
That's a nice job. She pulls up before Betts can get out and alter the shot.
Had a career-high 35 points against Florida on November 17th. Dugalić outside. Tucker found a seam on the inside, just short. Might have been partially blocked by Betts, too.
Looked like.
Right away, Betts, and there was nothing Timpson could do. Rebounds to that stat line as well. Gabriela Jaquez in the lane, gets the steal. They have numbers. Jones stops it, gets the layup.
Continue to stay attached as much as possible.
UCLA has hit their last 6 shots right now on a 7-0 run over the last minute. They got 43 seconds to work with to close out the half as Sarah Bejetti answers with a 3.
Fake pass to the corner player.
Londynn Jones coming off of the high screen, looking for Betts. How about Alexis Tucker was able to swing her way through.
To see that help side coming over.
So here comes Florida State. Gordon pulls up and just short.
Her taking it into the paint. We saw her step outside and hit the 3 as well, but it's her ability to hang, her ability to use her explosiveness is how she can score so effectively.
Tanaya Latson 5 for 11 from the field, actually 13 points. The only player for Florida State in double figures. Timpson tried to save it from going out of bounds, and Timpson actually looking for her first points of the ball game. And that's the dynamic duo for Florida State, both in co-captains. As the Bruins, Dugalić on the inside, just low for Lauren Betts. Offensively, Betts, Osborne, and Jones have a combined 40 points. Florida State in the first half had 40 points. And 1 as they get that one to go. And Tanaya Latson. Tanaya Latson came over to the table, talked about just feeling comfortable in this space, played UConn here at Mohegan Sun last season, actually had 24 points in that game. She said, you know what, this is maybe our first time playing one another. UCLA was actually her dream school. She said they didn't recruit me though, so now she has to have a big game.
That's how you do it.
Dugalić on the inside is able to knock that one down. Amara is able to return. Right now looking at her right ankle on the bench with the training staff. That's looking for Iwala. 15 seconds on the shot clock, and they're really trying to move it around right now. UCLA, known for how they set things up. Corey Close with the spacing on the floor. Rice, patient enough to get a bucket to play that we saw from Kiki Rice in that first half, is able to see if she can clean it up for that three-point play and gets it to go. Tania Latson pulls up. All but down as Timpson gets the and one. She's been able to do on the defensive end, especially in blocks, leading the ACC, but can't connect on the free throw there. Londynn Jones had an outstanding first half, knocked down 3 triples. Brown gets it at the top of the key. Can't knock it down.
That was a beautiful possession, though. Everybody got a touch.
Brown has the assignment of Latson, and she's able to finish. Again, goes inside. Betts cleans it up, and Timpson gets the block.
UCLA is the best offensive rebounding team in the country in terms of offensive rebound percentage. There weren't a ton of offensive boards to get in the first half because they shot so well. But you saw in this possession alone, and there might, nope, not another one, but got multiple.
That was her 30th block this season, as Tania Latson said, I can show you the left.
Exactly. Stop talking about my right hand.
It's the activity from Michaela Timpson as well. Tucker, a big piece starting. Grad transfer from UC Santa Barbara. Timpson looking for some room. You can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of what you give goes to cancer research. And the look out of the timeout right away on that previous play for UCLA with Dugalić getting fouled. Can knock down the N1 here. Actually a violation.
You don't know necessarily the players and their form, and if they have a hitch or whatever. You cannot have one when it's your teammate shooting.
For clarity, just being a team, you want to make sure that everyone's in uniform. But they do indeed count that free throw for UCLA on that previous trip down the floor.
So the violation was on Florida State? We'll get clarity of that.
We will get clarity. We have yet to be given any indicator from that outside of it counts. A lot of contact underneath. A jump ball will be called, and it will go back to UCLA. Rhythm, which you've seen that's been different offensively for the Bruins.
I think a little bit of each, because I feel like UCLA has gotten good looks. For example, that's the exact same shot that she was able to make in the first half, the floater, Jaquez, and misses it here in the third quarter. We saw Lauren Betts get some good looks on offensive boards in this quarter, just not able to convert. Oh, come on.
The in and out, the finish. This is her fourth 20-point game of the season. As the Bruins respond on the other side, Kiki Rice. Talk about the WNBA draft. UCLA 0 for 6 from outside is a lot of contact. UConn and number 24 ranked North Carolina. Talk about dynamic.
Both teams have scored 100 points or more in 5 games already early in this season.
South Carolina looks complete.
Yes.
The question for last season, knowing they had so much defense and obviously on the inside, but the shooters from the outside have been the most impressive. Turnage, corner 3, Gordon short. Zakiya White couldn't find a look underneath. And Kiki Rice, it
looks like when you watch her as well.
Turnage was looking for some help at the top of the key. That was poked away. Kiki Rice finds Osborne. 3 ball. Charisma Osborne. teams have not met since 2012. Notre Dame right now has won the last 8 matchups, but Purdue leads the all-time series 14-13. Just a slight edge there.
Yes. UCLA back in their zone on that possession, able to force the turnover from Florida State.
Bruins finding a rhythm before that timeout on an 8-0 run as Charisma Osborne takes the bump, coming back for her 5th year. And just speaking to Kiki Rice and Lauren Betts, they said it is so important to have her voice with this team.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the rhetorical question I asked earlier, sort of rhetorical, of why the guy at the table is wearing the stripes, I found out it's so the officials know who to report the foul to.
So, with uniform, right?
Yeah, you can't have everything be a cliffhanger.
In the first half, as Alexis Tucker, it's the first one to roll in. Deciding that she wanted to take her talents to Florida State and Tallahassee. A lot of familiar stories on both sides. Corey Close as well spent 7 seasons at Florida State before taking the job at UCLA.
Nice finish by Dugalić there. Such good size at 6'4", handles the ball well. There you go.
So Bigetti now in double figures with 11. Outside kick, Jones. Just off. Timpson able to tap that one back to herself for the rebound. 30 seconds left in this third quarter. Sarah Bigetti thought about it. Off the bounce, is able to get the bump. So Sarah Bigetti knocked down the first of the pair. Just in conversation with, you see a player and how they have to find a way to enhance their role this season, knowing that she was primarily used on the defensive end, their best perimeter defender, wanting to add a little bit more as far as the offense. And Brooke Wyckoff talked about how important she's been for this team and how she's taken a load off of Tanaya Latson as well.
Well, certainly Tanaya Latson's going to draw so much attention from the defense, needs other complementary pieces.
3 on the shot clock outside. Dugalić. Wide left, and that will be no good, and that will end the third quarter. But they were told, listen, we're preparing also for what we have to see next season in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're going to have some interesting travel, that's for sure, next season.
And we'll send it over to Corey Close. Corey, thank you for joining us. Just off the bat with your team, shooting 75% in the first half. What was the difference in the second half and how you got them back into a place where they had an 8-0 run?
Well, defense and hustle plays. I thought our passion in that half was really poor. And so when we were able to get better shots together off of our defense, the offense is a whole lot easier.
Coach, a 15-point lead here right now, but Florida State's done a nice job all game staying attached. What are the keys for you here down the stretch?
Yeah, defense and being smart about what they're going to. 4 and 0-0 are making all their plays. We got to overrun those, and we got to make their touches a lot more difficult.
Appreciate the time, Coach.
You
Thanks
bet.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very interesting, too. We were looking at that map. It doesn't get any easier. They're playing FSU today, but they take the trip to Ohio State in 8 days. They also have their Pac-12 opener against USC. That's not a shabby team as well as Juju Watkins playing well, but Tanaya Latson not done yet in this ball game.
Again, Florida State continues to fight and work, and when it looks like it's a time for UCLA to blow it open, they don't allow that to happen.
Seeing them switch a little bit different on the defensive end in their look. Dugalić working to the rim.
And a lot more missed layups as Lauren Betts gets that one to finally fall, but a lot more missed easier looks than we saw in the first half from UCLA.
This is her 5th 20-point game this season for Lauren Betts. Really in a rhythm. Michaela Timpson scored her first points in the second half and was denied there.
Osborne really battled once she got switched on to Timpson. Nice job defensively.
Kiki Rice, so elusive, getting to the bucket. Kiki Rice now in double figures, so now that makes 4 players, actually 5, in double figures for the Bruins. coming in. We talked about the balanced scoring from UCLA. A good reason why they average about 92 points per game. The amount of options they have, including Kiki Rice with a nice spin move into that bucket.
That was just absolutely beautiful, and coming down on the left side. Now, how do you guard it? You know, you're going to guard the second one like the first one, where she just went full left and then she spins right around.
Cervigetti at the bucket responds. Wanted the contact as well. Prisoner entered this game with a little over 1,900 points. So taking a dip on the three-point line.
All of those players bring their scoring in different ways, what makes it so difficult to defend.
Cervigetti looking for back-to-back buckets and gets it.
Thought they could get more movement, better sharing of the basketball.
Londynn Jones in and out. Iwala left alone, and that's about the easiest bucket she's going to see today. Cervigetti didn't see anybody underneath, gets the and one. Tania Latson and Sarah Dugalić, as you can see, have been carrying the load for Florida State in this game as they're trying to work their way back into this one.
Which is not necessarily ideal because Florida State needs, would like quicker shots, but they are getting stops. Number one priority to get stops. It's just UCLA has done a good job of using the clock.
Latson, the dish on the inside, had to go over about three players, Lauren Betts being one of them. Gabriela Jaquez.
I mean, how great is that? And then make all of my layups, learn how to do a left-handed layup. I mean, for fourth grade goals, pretty impressive.
I mean, her brother, Jaime Jaquez, who was actually with Miami playing in the NBA, actual reigning player of the year for the Pac-12, and also went to UCLA. So a great story. Do you have any of those laying around?
Yeah, but none of my kids ever said be nicer to a sibling, that's for sure.
We'll have to work on that then.
Yes.
UCLA with a 14-point lead over Florida State. As we mentioned, just a couple of runs that we've seen from the Noles. And brought it within 6 as well, but Bruins just finding their rhythm. Lauren Betts has been a big part of it. 16 rebounds that she has, her season and career high.
Great screen by Dugalić.
Kiki Rice got the tip. Actually was able to corral it back in. 5 rebounds and 6 assists for Kiki Rice. Has actual 4 games with over 10 assists this season. Inside look. Dugalić gets the step, and what a nice move on the inside.
It's a nice move right to Villegas's sternum to clear out some of that space.
Worked for those two. 16 points now for Dugalić. How about that bucket as well, Maya Bonner. The transfer from Cal Berkeley, the sophomore guard. Bonner actually for Florida State had a career high 16 points in their win over Tennessee. Didn't see a lot of minutes in this game. As a look for Lauren Betts underneath.
And we've seen times where she's had single coverage, double coverage, multiple bodies around her, and she still has played the way she wants to play. She's found open teammates when she's needed to. She's scored when that has been the best option for her.
Knocks them both down.
And we were talking to her yesterday, like there's not a lot of players who make me feel small as I stand at 6'4", but certainly looking up to her, I mean, you see it right there.
I don't think she left her feet for that block.
No, nor did she need to. I mean, just coming down and be smart by getting the block, not putting yourself in a position to get a foul called.
Tania Latson able to track that one down before it went backcourt. Third block of the season for I mean, the game for Lauren Betts. But how about Deja Kelly going at Paige Beckers as well in that second?
That's going to be an exciting one. And for WNBA, wow,
Wait a minute. Where do we go from here?
for WNBA fans, that draft lottery could be incredibly impactful for a team, especially if Caitlin Clark chooses to come out after this season. It will be the Caitlin Clark sweepstakes.
Getting 3,000. So Florida State actually won their last two. Will drop this one. They'll have next Drexel on the 17th, and UCLA, the second-ranked team in the nation, remains perfect. We'll move on to 9-0. We saw their graphic and how they needed to travel. Well, they'll be back on the road to take on Ohio State. That'll be at 3:30 in the embrace between two coaches that have so much in common between the two programs.